This is part 5 of our LightWrite 6 tutorial. In this section, we'll look at the layouts in LightWrite. So with our LightWrite file open, we're going to come down here to the bottom. Our options are Worksheet, which is what we've been in so far, Focus, and Layout. So we're going to click on Layout. And it's going to give me this page setup box in terms of how you want to format it. The defaults are generally fine, but it's going to be for any printer. We want it in a US letter size in portrait mode at 100% scale. And we'll just click OK. And that takes us into the actual layout of LightWrite. This is what the final printed product is going to look like. So it's very much like sheet layers in Vectorworks or Paperspace in AutoCAD. Same basic idea. So the first thing that we're going to do with this is we're going to create the show title and page header. So I'm going to come up here to Setup and Show Title and Page Header. And I'm going to get this dialog box coming up. So for my show title, I'm going to call this LightWrite Tutorial TCR. So do LightWrite Tutorial and your initials. And then in the next cell, we're going to say it's in the generic theater. Great. We're going to say it's drafted by TCR, in your case, your initials. And we're going to see created March of 2022. I think on the written tutorial I put 2002, which is clearly not the year. Great. You could put other information in here if you wanted, but for our purposes right now, this is going to be just fine. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and just click the close dot up here in the upper left-hand corner. And LightWrite is going to populate all of the information that I just changed. Next, we're going to look at changing the way that the information is displayed. So I'm going to come up to this drop-down menu that says Layout Options, and I'm going to come down and choose Body Columns. And I get this menu. And these are all the various things that LightWrite can display depending on what kind of information you've got entered or what you want populated. In our case, we definitely want purpose, channel, dimmer, address, position, and unit number. But I'm going to select instrument type. No, I'm not going to say accessory. I'm going to say color and gobo. And then over here, I'm going to deselect instrument type and accessory and load. And I'm going to deselect color and gobo. It's better if we have these individually because then if we need to manipulate the columns, we can do it on a point-by-point basis rather than affecting multiple types of information at the same time. So once that's all done, I'm going to click OK. And you'll see that LightWrite has changed a little bit in terms of how we're displaying the information. I'm going to come up here to Purpose to the right-hand side until I get the bar with the two arrows, and with that you can change the size of the columns, and I'm just going to drag that over to the right a little bit so that our purpose field makes a little bit more sense. All right, I'm going to come up to Layout Options again, and I'm going to go select the first one, which is Options. And I'm going to come down here. Right now, use ditto marks is checked. That's a default that LightWrite puts in that we absolutely do not want. So we're going to deselect that and click OK. And essentially what that means is that when it's selected, any information that's repeated from a previous line gets a ditto mark instead of the actual information being displayed again, and it's a really good way to cause confusion. I can't tell you the number of times where People have been short color or information has been misconstrued because it's not printed out again. It's just a ditto mark, and so it gets ignored. So we don't want that at all. So we've got that all set, which is great. So the next thing that we're going to do is we want to use those short names for our instrument types that we created earlier. So up here next to the trash can, there's a button that says short. I'm going to click that. Boom. And you can see that our instrument types have been changed, and now we're taking up a little bit less space. With the longer instrument types, it can cause it to essentially wrap around and take up another row, which we don't want to have generally. Okay, so once we've got that all squared away, we're going to save this layout. And that's a little bit different than saving the file. We're going to come up here to File and come down to Save Layout As. And we want to put it in this shows folder or file. So I'll click that, and I get a new dialog box asking me to save this layout using what name. I'm just going to change this to, again, Lightwrite tutorial and your initials. You want to make sure that the suffix is LWL6. And we'll click OK. And then Lightwrite's going to give me this notification that it's been placed in my show file, and it will be saved anytime that you save the show file. That's great. I'll click OK. What that means is any changes that I make to the layout at all, when I just save the file, it'll automatically get updated and save those changes as well. Okay, so we need to change this for a couple of other different types of information. So up here in our drop-down menu, we're at Channel Hookup Portrait. We're going to select that, and we're going to come down to Instrument Schedule. And with our instrument schedule, we're going to go into Body Columns again and make sure that we have selected instrument type. We're going to deselect Load. We're going to say we want color and gobo, and we're going to deselect instrument typing and accessory and deselect color and gobo. And okay, Lightwrite will change that, a little bit of that information. And so now we're in instrument schedule, so everything is broken down by position, and you can see it's in the order that we changed it in earlier on. Lightwrite will only show you one page at a time when you scroll all the way down. If you want to see the next page of the instrument schedule, we can just click this little arrow up here. And then that shows us the first electric. We've got our gobo information with our image populated in there. Here's our second electric, same thing, and so on. So that's great. We're going to do that one more time. We're going to select the DMX address hookup and come up to our layout options, our body columns, and we want to make sure that we're showing dimmer and instrument type and color and gobo and deselecting these other ones that we don't want. Okay. And now we have the same information, but it is sorted by address rather than position. So really, in our case, it's what dimmer it's plugged into is equal to the address that it's occupying. I'm going to go back to channel hookup just so you can see that in this instance we're organizing by channel. So we have 1 through 12, which is our warm front light system. Then we have 21 through 32, which is our cool front light system, and then 41 through 52, which is our backlight system, and so on. So we've got that all changed for those 3 different types of paperwork. So I'm going to go ahead and save my file. Again, it's going to automatically save the updates that I've made to the different layouts. And that's the end of section 5. In section 6, we'll look at printing our paperwork.